Okay, good morning, everyone. It's Saturday. Happy Saturday. Happy walk and talk. How's everybody doing this morning? Good morning.
Doing awesome.
All right. We've got a bunch of people still on mute, which is fine. We like that. Again, it's Saturday morning. For those that are just maybe seeing this for the first time, we do strive to have this Zoom every Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's just kind of a community get together for those of us that are involved in the HealthPointe program. And that might be people that are active as coaches and facilitators. It might be folks that are clients and want to come in once a week to kind of get that community and ask questions and so forth. It could be prospective people that are just wanting to check out HealthPointe and learn more about it. And so we do this, and then I upload it to our YouTube channel, our Voices of HealthPointe YouTube channel. So it can always be watched on there. But we'd just like to kind of go around the horn and get things started here on this beautiful March Saturday morning. Can't believe we're already into March, and I'm going to go around the horn here, starting with Kathy. Good morning, Kathy.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is doing great on this March 2nd. I totally agree. I know yesterday I was at work and we do a work log that we have to maintain, and I have to do a tab for each month. And I'm like, holy crap, I have to make a March tab. I couldn't believe it was March 1st yesterday. So, we're a quarter of the way through the year already. How crazy is that? So, but fortunately, a lot of us that are involved in our HealthPointe program are working really hard to regain our health in 2024 if your health wasn't where you wanted it to be. And, that's been my focus, helping people. Fortunately, my health is where I want it to be. Over 5 years ago, I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic and lost 58 pounds and kept it off.
Yeah.
Thank you. And kept it off and never went into the bad diabetic stage. So I didn't have to worry about that with this fabulous program, and even did it through COVID. And so that, again, shows that the program works, so that you can maintain it during COVID. I mean, come on. So there weren't too many things people could say they could maintain and do during COVID. So at least I can say I succeeded with HealthPointe. So, and since that time, in the past almost 2 years, I have made it a goal to walk 10,000 steps consecutively every day. Today is 1 year, 337 days consecutively.
Step queen, rocking it out. Love it. That's awesome. That's so cool. I never tire of hearing that, Kathy, because it's just the consistency, is such a key tenet of HealthPointe. And you are queen consistency, step queen consistency. Awesome.
I mean, at least it's one area in my life I can be consistent in, right? We all strive. Yeah. We all strive in every area. So I have that win under my belt, and yes, I mean, it is a struggle. Some days it's not always easy to get 10,000 steps a day, So if there's anybody that's on the program that's just starting and you're going, oh my God, 10,000 steps a day. Okay. First of all, breathe. You don't have to do 10,000 steps the first day you start HealthPointe. Nobody did. Not even the step queen. Okay. My 5 years that I was in HealthPointe, I consistently did always over 5,000, but I was probably consistently around the 6,500, 7,500 mark. Once in a while I get to 10,000 because I knew that was like the overall goal, but I had other goals. So that wasn't like, pushing me, but I saw a video about the benefits of 10,000 steps over a year and 37 days ago. And, it really touched me. And one of the things was just walking 10,000 steps a day, not doing marathon running, not powerlifting, just walking. And I don't know if you can tell, but I'm walking back and forth in my house right now. I don't like to walk outside a lot. I just don't. I live in Michigan. It's cold, whatever. Other people bundle up. I just like to be in my house. So I go back and forth in my house. So it's not anything that's difficult to do, except just disciplining yourself and getting up and doing it. So
That's
no,
a key point there. That's a really key point, that you get the most of your steps in inside the house. I don't hear it too often, but occasionally, and maybe even you, Kathy, when you first started, maybe it wasn't intuitive to you that you could get your steps in inside the house. I don't know what it is. When we think of like walking, we think we have to have, this treadmill, or we have to go to a gym, or we have to have this, special route. And it turns out just walking up and down the hallway, or through your different routes inside your house. I know with myself, the bulk of my steps are, I paced it out once. It's 8 paces in a little hallway outside my office, and it's 8 paces, turn around, 8 paces, turn around. And in my case, I'm multitasking. I'm not just walking, doing nothing. I'm walking, and I might have my phone, and I'm maybe doing some voice memos or something like that. I'm listening to voice memos. I might be, doing some texting. It's safe. It's carpeted. If I'm multitasking and I stub my toe and I trip, I'm landing on carpet. Hello, I'm fine. Okay. Sometimes I'll go up and down the stairs that are right there, and wow, that will really put a pump in you real quick if you go up and down stairs, just with your quad work and stuff like that. I'm often listening to audios, or, hey, maybe I'm reviewing a, Voices of HealthPointe YouTube video, and, getting that in. But wow, what is it, about 45 minutes? And that's about 5,000 steps. Is that about what you find, Kathy?
Yeah, just about. And I will also throw in here for new people that I work as an administrative assistant in an office setting. So the majority of my steps are on my lunch hour. And yeah, between a half an hour to 45 minutes, I can usually hammer out, walking back and forth in our 3rd floor lobby, about almost 5,000. I did 5,200 yesterday. I was amazed, but I really was clocking it. I mean, I was going back and forth because we had an all staff meeting from 8:30 to 11 o'clock, and I couldn't move. So I was like, oh my God, I'm so down. I only have like 1,200 steps in, and I didn't want to be here at home last night at 11:30, hammering them out. So I did power walking like Carol does, and just, really stepped up my step count, and managed to hammer out 5,500 in about 45 minutes. So
yeah,
my normal pace, probably like in a half hour of lunch, is probably between 37 to maybe 4,500 within a half an hour or so. Usually by the time I come back from lunch, I definitely have about 6,000 in for the day. So, and then doing it right after lunch is good too, because it burns off lunch. So
right. Actually, and you mentioned that you had been diagnosed pre-diabetic, and then did HealthPointe, and reversed that pre-diabetic categorization. And that's one of the things that is clear in the science, that if you walk even just 20 minutes after eating, what it does is, your muscles are a glucose sink, right? You're going to suck up glucose. And so if you eat and then flop on the lazy boy or on the couch, there's no muscle, other than maybe your thumb on the remote control. But if you do a little bit of walking, and I know Emily and I have been, doing more and more of that. None of us are perfect on any of this, by the way, of course. But if you do that, if you kind of build that into a habit structure, it's like anything else, it's like a habit structure, then that's a great way to do it. Well, thank you so much, as always, our consistency queen, our step queen. And yeah, 45 minutes is around 5,000, unless you're Carol Zampa, and then you get about 5,000 steps in, I think, in 20 minutes, because she's power walking. And I'm gonna go in a moment over to you. Yes, go for it.
I just wanted to jump in on Kathy.
Sure.
For a second, and just to say, I don't know, I heard a quality in her voice where she sort of was kind of minimizing the 10,000, or it's the only thing that I'm doing. I might have heard this wrong, so I apologize. but I just wanted to remind her that every little discipline that we do that is positive adds value to our life and gives us greater belief of what the next step is for us, that maybe we can accomplish that too. And so in HealthPointe, when you get through one cycle, that discipline of having done it for 6 weeks gives you unbelievable belief that you could do it for another 6 weeks. And so I just want to say, Kathy, I know doing 10,000 steps a day is extremely difficult. And I admire your tenacity, your determination, and the work ethic you have for doing that and accomplishing that and being the step queen. And just realize that somewhere that that strengthens you, it's already strengthened you to handle many of the challenges that have come into your life. And so anyways, you're doing great. You're fabulous. We love you and we appreciate having you on these Zoom meetings and sharing your story. That's David.
Thanks,
Wow.
David.
Wow, David. Thank you so much for just adding that in there, man. I mean, it was so due and so true. You know, I too also heard, Dave, that, you know, with Kathy, you know, I'm sure, Kathy, you're proud of yourself. You should be proud of yourself, but maybe with that consistency, it becomes a little bit, you know, sounding like it's routine and maybe mundane and not as special as it really is. And I mean, I just can't add anything else to what David just covered. Thank you, David. That is so true. You know, this is a really big deal what you're doing there. It's not just 10,000 steps a day. It's amazing. And it spills over into other areas of your life outside of HealthPointe. Like David, you were saying, it adds confidence. Oh my gosh. I mean, how many people, myself included, you know, you're kind of cruising along in life and then you know, do this thing called HealthPointe, you know, and there's this reason over here why you're doing it. But suddenly, and for many of us, we haven't had kind of a chapter in our life, you know, maybe you had this if you had to go through some schooling, maybe you had to get through a trade school or a college degree. And that was a kind of a fixed chapter in your life where it was the beginning, the work, and the completion, and not everybody completes it. And, you know, but many of us, you know, absent of, you know, a real small list of times where we have these windows to apply ourselves and achieve and gain that, as I say, a notch in our stick. Okay. You gain that notch in your stick where you can reflect back on that and said, hey, I did that. And I can do this next thing because I did that. And if you build a number of notches in your sticks, it really builds the confidence. And HealthPointe's one of those that when you do it, it builds confidence, sometimes to spill over into totally other areas of your life. David, anything else you would like to maybe add on that or anything?
Again, you've hit a home run there, Eric. And again, a Jim Rohnism is that every positive discipline we add in our life will add value and make it easier for the next one that we strive for. And every negative value that we add into our life will make it, will be a weight on us and will make it much more difficult for us to get out of that spiral. And so just to be able to look in the mirror and say, I did it, I'm doing it, is so powerful. As I work with my own grandkids, I use music. You know, my granddaughter plays piano and she has some songs that when she plays, she stands and flicks her hair and wiggles her butt. And I remind her that when she first started playing the song, she cried. And so, but the music gives you that same thing, the repetition of doing it every day. You get better and better and better, and it leads to more and more and more. That's it for David today. I bloviated. I look forward to hearing the rest of you guys. Make it a great day.
Thanks again, Dave. appreciate it and appreciate those added comments. So we are going to swing over to Carol, and you know, I would like anybody that would want to speak. You know, we talk about raising hands, and I know sometimes it's hard to find the button on the Zoom screen and stuff like that. I'll just open it up and just say, as we go around here, we're going to go to Carol next, but just unmute and talk. And if there's a couple of you that over talk, you know, just you know, we've got Billy, we got Emily, we got Dave, we got Marilyn, Julie, Larry, etc. Just go ahead and unmute and feel free to speak. And absent of that, I might just call on you. But we love, this is just a community. This is just kind of a free for all, not super structured. So I just wanted to comment on that. And before I turn it over to Carol, I've got another segment I want to do, but as we're getting started here, I wanted to mention something on last week. And that was last week, I talked quite a bit about the water and e-spring and filtration. I think it was last week. Anyhow, just a brief thing on that. Since drinking water is such a big part of the HealthPointe program, we did get our demo unit. I hooked it up. I'm not a handyman, guys. A lot of people think because of my other business that I'm like super handy. Emily will attest to the fact that anything we need done around our house, I have our handyman on speed dial. So I'm not handy, but hooking up that water treatment system was a piece of cake. This is the above counter unit one to be used for demonstrations, to be able to hook up to other people. It's a phenomenal unit. It's really, I think they've upped their game on even subtle things like the packaging. The packaging is very, I told Emily, it seemed very like Apple-like, you know, when you buy like an Apple product and it's, you know, beautiful packaging and very well designed even on that front with that first unboxing experience. So everything from the beautiful packaging right down to the hookup, and then obviously taking out, you know, nasty, you know, PFAS and pharmaceuticals and microplastics and you know, not one of these filters that just takes out cigarette butts, right? You know, this gets down to the very small stuff. So I just wanted to kind of close the loop on that whole drinking water thing and drinking good quality water. Highly recommend the eSpring water treatment system. So with that, I'm going to go over to power walking, I think. Carol, good morning, Carol.
Good morning. Good morning. Yes, I'm out power walking. Good morning. And it's a lovely day. A little overcast so far, but sun will be breaking through here pretty quick. I can already see it over there. Anyway, boy, I'm loving what I'm hearing this morning. And it kind of goes back to two words that we learned years ago: association and identification. And just being associated with you guys and hearing all the wonderful tips and the things that you are doing and the things you have done to create great habits. I mean, to me, that is just somebody I want to be associated with and identify with. And the identification thing, as we say, Kathy is the step queen. David is the one-liner. He comes through with these stellar things. And Eric is the information man. And we have many different ones. But it's just who I want to meet with on Saturday mornings. And I was thinking while I was listening to Kathy and David both about a book we're all familiar with, except maybe the folks that are relatively new in the HealthPointe program, but it's called The Slight Edge by Olson. And it's really good because the one-liner in there is, it's easy to do and it's easy not to do. And when we get into the HealthPointe program, we find that some things are quite easy to do, but then all of a sudden they're not so easy to do, or they're easy to slip by for a day. And then we say, okay, I'll do that, you know, on another day. I'll do that tomorrow, or okay, we're just going to not do that today. I don't feel like it. And that's very normal, especially in the beginning, till you start to see the benefits of the HealthPointe program. But a while back, I did an audio, and it was something like that type of thing where you can just slip through and not do something. Well, when you do that, it's easy not to do also, but then it takes you one step away from making that burnt in habit that makes you feel so good when you do it. So the less not to do's that you can have as you move into the program, the better off you'll be and the easier the program will be to follow. But I was thinking this morning as I was doing some reading on the little pitfalls that we can fall into in the HealthPointe program. So I just jotted a few of them down. And one of them ties kind of in with Eric and the drinking of the pure water in the e-spring. So important for the hydration. And Tuesday night, we'll be having our HealthPointe program where you can invite friends and of course, come on yourself to hear more and more about the e-spring and the supplementation and the HealthPointe program and why we do what we do and why it's so important. But I think one of them is, and it falls in with the not snacking, not drinking. It's easy to let a snack go by. And the folks on my, that I'm coaching personally, I have them send in every night or every morning, whichever, their journal. And it's interesting because I can see the consistency of the snacking as folks get more into the program, the habit forming of the snacking. And the new people, it's just easy to let a snack go by and, oh, I won't do that, or I ran out of this, or I don't have snacks or whatever. And that snacking is one of the really vital parts of the program for continuing to lose weight, because every time you snack, you kick that metabolism in and it starts to burn the things you've eaten, starts to burn that fat, those carbs. And so when you say, oh, I'm not going to snack, I'm not hungry, or I don't have whatever. Excuse me, there's a truck going by here. What it does is it puts you in a position where, it puts you in a position where your metabolism goes to sleep. And as soon as the metabolism goes to sleep, the body stops performing, it stops burning. And so it's not just about skipping because you don't feel like it. Look at it more as, if I skip, my body's going to turn off. So you start to visualize that even that little 1 ounce snack, that little half a bar with drinking some water down, it's easy to do, easy not to do. But if you don't do it, the detriments of it. So I always try to think of a choice as the positives and the negatives about it. Positives are my body is going to continue to kick butt and really burn the calories, burn the carbs and fat. And if I don't do it, it's going to go to sleep on me. And so that's one area I'd like to really make sure people are doing at least one snack in between, sometimes 2 or 3 snacks, depending on your lifestyle and what have you. And you work with your coach on that. Another one I think is shopping when you're hungry. I learned this a long time ago. You never want to shop when you're starving, because what happens is you make all the wrong choices. And so then you come home and you'll kind of sabotage yourself. And they'll say, oh, you know what? Company's always popping in. I got to have this dessert for when company pops in. I got to be prepared, or this snack food or whatever thing. And it's usually a trigger food for you. It's usually something you really like. So I say to you, first of all, don't buy things that you really like. And second of all, when company pops in, you know, there's always a grocery store around the corner, or just offer them a nice beverage, you know, have some excess, or have the pot of coffee on or whatever. People don't always expect to eat. And so having that when you're shopping, being hungry, picking wrong choices, and once you pick the wrong choice, it gets into your house and then it haunts you. Better to not pick that choice at all. Or whether it be, I don't know, I heard an example this morning, and this is a highly unusual example, but it was just somebody that went into an ice cream shop. Well, they know that ice cream or chocolate or whatever is that's in those shops is not good. So putting yourself in that position, you're just sabotaging yourself. So it's easier to just walk by and say, hey, I'm going to go over and I'm going to treat myself to a Starbucks coffee, not the, you know, latte ones, but just a nice cup of coffee. I'm going to sit down, relax, have a coffee or a tea. And it's an either or choice. So I would say don't shop when you're hungry. Let's see here. Oh, and then if you're going out to dinner, the best thing to do on the way to dinner is to have a half a protein bar or a snack of your choice and some water. And then when you arrive at that restaurant, what's going to happen is you're going to sit down and your body sugar, your blood sugar is going to be at a good level. So you're going to make happy, healthy, sane choices. And you're going to be happy with yourself because of the things that you've done to take control over what you know could have been a very ugly situation. And so it's easier than to shove the bread to the other end of the table and say, hey, I'm just kind of not interested in eating bread lately. I just don't care for it too much, and shove it over to the other side and then continue on your conversation. Don't make it a big deal. But, putting yourself in a strong position when you're going out. Another one is skipping supplementation. And this is in particular, I think, for the newer person, because some of us have been on supplementation for a long time, and we really understand how vital and how absolutely beneficial it is to our bodies for long-term health and strength. But if you're new to supplementation, it's easy to say, oh, you know what, I'm forking out a lot of money for these supplements. Maybe I'll kick it back to only once a day, or maybe I won't take them today, or, I'll get them next week. Well, then next week rolls around and you don't have them and you don't have anything. And then you stop supplementing and fall out of that easy to do, easy not to do habit forming. So those would be just a few things that I'm telling you this from my own knowledge of my own self. So it's kind of being transparent in some respects. But I think if you can think of those little things that could sabotage you, and then also keeping real close touch with your coach, so that when you do fall into these things, you can step back and say, okay, I understand the deal here. Okay, I know how to counteract this, because your coach will help you with that, because your coach was the very person that went through the same thing you went through. So they know exactly firsthand what you're dealing with. So those were just a few things I wanted to share today. And kudos to all three of you that already shared so much. I could just sit back and I didn't need to share it all today. All I needed to do was just listen to you and your wisdom and the things that your one-liners, your information, and your determination. And I'll tell you what, that's the greatest gift you can give anybody that's starting a HealthPointe program, is to be part of this community. We have to get the folks that we're on, we have to start building a habit for them to get on the program too. I mean, get on the walk and talk, because these are so very, very helpful. And even though they are recorded and they can go back and listen later, I think getting them in the habit of getting up at 8 o'clock and wherever they need to walk or just sit and have a cup of coffee and listen in, I think it's better to do it firsthand. So
I agree, Carol, and it's interesting. Sometimes we wrestle with whether to just wait and get something on a recording later or tap into the opportunity to do it live. And there's just something extra in the air, we'll call it, when you're on live like this, for sure. So I just focusing in on the snacking part that you're covering there, so much to maybe unpack. And you talk about, first of all, strategically doing it before you go to a restaurant. We sometimes, I know I personally counsel people or coach people if they have known events coming up in their schedule, like a birthday party, a Saturday afternoon, family get together or something like that. And to, like as they're pulling in the driveway, have a protein snack. And by the way, to clarify, of course, what you're meaning here, Carol, because this is HealthPointe, is, some people that maybe have if they're tuning into this YouTube for the first time, they're thinking snacking. Hey, this is awesome. I get to snack
Thank
on
you.
a bag of chips here. This is great. Let me break out my Cheetos, but you're talking, of course, and maybe we could recommend some options as far as snacks. Do you have any particular recommendations, Carol, as far as snacks?
Well, I think these little tuna packs that you can get are a great way to snack. I think they also come in chicken. So they're a quick, easy snack for some folks. Everybody's in a little different situation, but if you're in a working world, you can't necessarily always, have hard-boiled egg with you, but you can rip open something like that. Mozzarella cheese stick. I would say, if you can, I always loved hard-boiled eggs, always having hard-boiled eggs on hand, and have maybe a half of one of those. Remember, your snacks don't need to be large, only an ounce. It's better to eat one snack every hour than it is to eat 4 ounces of snack and then not have anything for quite a while. So that's one of the secrets to snacking. The other thing is, and I'll kind of give a little plug here because they're coming up, but I believe it's March 6th. There will be previous body key bars that we've been using, which have been absolutely wonderful, have now, they're going away, and a new kid on the block is coming. And for those of you that are familiar with the Nutrilite organic protein powder and its absolute pureness, it's such a pure product. Well, now we have liquid shakes, and those make it quick and easy, have a few gulps of that as a snack. A liquid protein shake that you can, screw the top back on and put it in the refrigerator for another snack. Or they have now, replacing the previous bars, we have our new Nutrilite organic bars. And this is all Nutrilite, all pure, all clean. And they're off of our certified organic farms or our NutriSearch highly certified partner farms for things that we don't particularly grow ourselves. And those are going to be so wonderful. And, it's just like anything. We understand more as time goes on. We learn more. And we've done that with our food products. So this will be a highly revolutionized, even I would say upgraded, healthy snack. And they come in peanut butter, berry, and double chocolate. So they pretty much hit everybody that is, good morning, hit everybody that is, whatever flavor you like. So those will be coming, I think it's March 6th. So you can look for those. So those are some of the snacks that I particularly use. And again, the easiest thing is to have it handy. I like a grab and go type of snack. And I know Bruce and Eileen, who I think have another commitment today, so I don't think they're on, but Eileen just takes little containers and makes a whole slew of snacks, sticks them in the refrigerator. So she's always got grab and go stuff ready. I think she takes like Sunday afternoon and perhaps for the week. And as a result, they've been extremely successful on the program because they just prepared for that. So
yeah, she's like down in the range of 60 pounds or so,
yeah,
and Bruce
yeah,
is 40 some pounds.
Yep. Yeah, she just made another breakthrough. And her niece that went on the program has lost, I think it's 11 or 12 pounds, and she's still on her first cycle. So she's doing extremely well, following the program, not asking a lot of questions, just following the program. And then her mom, who has had a little tougher go, part of it is, age is a factor. Sometimes you have to work a little harder because you've had habits a little longer. But her mom broke through, and I think her mom lost, I know she did. She lost 15 pounds as of yesterday.
Wow.
And I think, her mom's doing very well. It was a little slow to start, but she stuck with it, and she's moving along real nicely. So, and then of course, Bruce is, both of them are doing, they both made breakthroughs. they're down to their last few pounds and are experiencing the body wants to fight you, but who's going to win the battle? That's what I always ask, who's
Mhm.
going to win the battle? So
Right.
anyway,
Well, that's some super exciting stuff, things that I wasn't aware of. So thanks for sharing on that about the Neutralite Organics. I mean, huge fan of that product, huge,
yeah,
huge, huge fan of that product. And to learn that they are basically expanding the offering to, just hit all the, ways that you might want to, snack or consume that product is just really, really exciting. And
well, you
so
know,
that's,
the other one, Eric, not to steal your thunder, but you were the one that came up with it, was the Nutrilite protein powder. And I think you said add a little either water or almond milk and chia
Mhm.
seeds and make it like a little pudding. Well, they love that pudding. And I'll tell you something, those white chia seeds, I just read an article, oh, not the white chia seed, but the black chia seeds even. I just read an article that actually Hank gave me, and it listed really, really important foods for your heart. And chia seeds was one of the top ones. So
Mhm.
who knew that, you know? So
Yeah,
thank you
yeah,
for that
and
idea.
well, sure, yeah, because we love that product so much, and it's so clean and so healthy and so packed with good, clean protein. We're kind of, Emily and I are trying to figure out different ways that we can enjoy that product. In fact, we were out to dinner with some friends and some folks that were coaching. We went out to dinner with them, and they were asking Emily, because she mentioned about like a pudding that she makes, and they were asking, okay, well, what is it that you put in there? Now with us, we're not in a 6-week cycle, we're not in a
Right.
weight loss mode. So there's some things that she puts in there that are appropriate for those of us that are in a maintenance mode, right?
Yes.
But it is, the base elements is the protein powder, chocolate or vanilla, and then the chia seeds, as you're saying. And the chia seeds are also a phenomenal source of good fiber,
Mhm.
because you basically have a net carb, call it a zero, maybe there's one net carb there because of the fiber, and that's, as so we're big promoters of those chia seeds. So well, that is, wow, such great stuff. Snacking is so key. We want to keep our body in, out of that starvation mode. People intuitively, especially if they've done like quote unquote diets and stuff like that, they're like, oh, I just need to starve myself here, and that's not the science. The science is to get your metabolism, get your burn spinning fast, and that's a combination of things, but one of the things is, constantly or routinely, regularly, systematically fueling your body, and those snacks are not bags of Cheetos and,
Right.
Krispy Kreme donuts and stuff like that. These are healthy, small portions. And that's a little bit nuanced, in the HealthPointe program, Carol, as you and I know, it's not front page bold print how much a snack
Yeah.
should be. It's kind of buried in the daily messages. And if people are not reading those daily messages, or even if they do, it's very easy to miss what is the appropriate size of that. It's not, a tomahawk steak for a snack,
Right.
You say, yeah, I'm having a protein snack. No, you're having a tomahawk steak. That's not a
At a
snack.
dinner.
These are small pieces of protein. And so, yeah, great stuff. Thank you so much. And as
Well, one
I
last thing.
start,
What's that?
yes.
One last thing as you move on, Eric. I don't mean to keep cutting off, but you're
All right.
saying such wonderful things. Is when you're listening to the audios, we have now our mental prep 10 audios. As you're listening to those, and they're talking about some snacks and things, make sure you're working. If you are on the program and you're new, make sure you're working with your coach on that, because in many cases, some of those snacks might be from people that, like Eric and Hank and I and Emily and many of the other coaches, are on lifetime maintenance. Those might be perfectly fine for us, but just even sheer quantity, make sure you're checking with your coach that those are applicable for where you are at in your stage of the game. I think that's very important. And I'm finished, Eric. I will not cut you off one more time.
No, please do. Please do. We will transition here, but anybody, just as I started the program, I said, rather than trying to find your screen and, do the raise the hand thing. I mean, if you want to do that, great, do that. But this is just an open forum. So anybody at any time, just unmute and chime in. David did it earlier. Wonderful. That's what we want. This doesn't have to be super formal. I'm going to jump into a segment here because Carol kind of teed it up when she talked about supplementation and so forth. But as I wrap up, and if we have time, we're going to move on to others that want to speak. And of course, I can call on some people. People can raise their hand, but also you can just unmute and start talking. And if there's 2 or 3 of you, we'll pick one and move forward. So it doesn't have to be super formal here. I love the quote unquote interruptions. Interrupt more, please. Please interrupt more. Okay. But Carol mentioned about in the HealthPointe program, the importance of supplementation and how it's easy to fall out of that. And like anything, it's easy to do, and it's easy not to do. Thanks for reminding us of that, by the way, Carol. Thanks for reminding me of that. Our good friends and fellow HealthPointers and business owners, actually my best friend, Dave McFarland, many of you know him, Dave and Sue, he's always saying that. And I didn't realize it came from that book, Carol. He's routinely saying that. And it's because it's just kind of a life principle. He says, easy to do, but therefore easy not to do. So thank you, Dave, on that. And, but on the supplementation, I'm going to drop into something here that is, a little bit sciencey. Okay, sorry, that's kind of how I roll, but I'm going to try to package it to make it not too nerdy. And I'm going to ask a rhetorical question, meaning unless somebody wants to unmute and chime in, I'm just asking this, not expecting anybody to answer. But it's something that I would have struggled with if somebody asked this question to me. And I supplement daily. I've supplemented, like Carol, like you and Hank have for years, enjoy it, love it, see the value of it. And yet there's a term that's often floated around, and I thought I kind of knew what it meant, but here's how I know that I didn't know what it meant or any of the relevance. If I ask the question, what do these 3 items, what category do they fall into? Flavonoids, carotenoids, and glucosinolates. Flavonoids, carotenoids, and glucosinolates. What are they? And that's a rhetorical question. We're not going to do a pop quiz here. I'm not going to kick everybody off of Zoom that doesn't get that right. Okay, because I wouldn't have gotten it right. But the answer is they are phytonutrients. Now, how many times have I heard the term phytonutrients? Countless. Did I think I knew what it meant? I guess, because it kind of went in one ear and out the other ear. And here's the context that I always heard it in, and this is what I want to drive home. Not only is it important to supplement, but we hear, what is the difference between Nutrilite, okay, that grows, harvests its own plant material and creates the supplement out of that, versus, let's just say, some sort of synthetic, 100% synthetic product. Let me just, say, what's the difference between, Nutrilite XX and say Flintstone vitamins, right? Okay, if I can kind of throw that comparison out there, or, Nutrilite XX, or any kind of, you can buy supplements, as we joke, in the gas station, right? And you can certainly go into, many places and buy this. What's the difference? And what's always highlighted are, well, phytonutrients. Well, what in Sam's Hill are phytonutrients? Let's unpack it a little bit. And let me try to like not go too deep, because quite frankly, I'm probably not qualified to go too deep, but here's what it is. So vitamins and minerals are essential. Phytonutrients are not necessarily essential. Well, they're not essential, but they're incredibly valuable. Let me back up. Vitamins and minerals are essential. Don't test it, okay? If you want to try going without magnesium, I don't recommend it, okay? This, the human biology needs vitamins and minerals. They are essential for life. You go without magnesium. Magnesium is responsible for over 300 biochemical reactions in the body. You don't want to mess with that. You don't want to go magnesium free for a long duration. The body will start sending you some signals. It'll start saying, hey, you're getting some muscle cramps, you're starting to lose some cognitive function, and then you're going to have some heart issues, and then you're going to die. So don't mess with that, okay? Vitamins and minerals are essential. Phytonutrients are, they actually are, it's really interesting. It's what plants, fruits and vegetables, they have elements with them that help them survive in the environment. Okay, they have mechanisms and materials in them that help them to repel pests, to survive, different threats that they experience. And when we eat those fruits and vegetables and consume those phytonutrients like flavonoids, like carotenoids, like glucosinolates, they have similar protective benefits on the human biology, specifically anti-inflammatory. Is that important? That's incredibly important. Antioxidant, antioxidative. You hear about oxidative stress. Okay, these types of things come from a source of that is phytonutrients. So when you're building your habit of supplementing, it's really important to be supplementing with a product that is not just isolated vitamin and minerals. Yes, that's very, very important. We get that in the Nutrilite brand, but because the Nutrilite brand, grows and harvests this product on their own, over 6,000 acres of, certified organic farms, or their NutriCert partner farms that are audited for their organic and other protocol, we're getting the rich phytonutrient material along with those vitamins and minerals. And the other things about phytonutrients that's very interesting, and I have heard this, and this kind of made sense to me, but it was honestly the only thing I really understood about phytonutrients, and that is that there's a synergistic effect that can occur with vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients that is more effective than that isolated vitamin or mineral by itself. So when you eat whole plant foods, you get this, you not only get the vitamins and the minerals and the phytonutrients, but you also get this synergistic effect where one gets a better result when mixed with the other, okay? And there's specific, lists of synergistic effects that I could, bore you to tears with and go through, and I won't. Think of it like this. This is a metaphor that kind of makes sense to me if we talk about, the role of phytonutrients in comparison to the role of vitamins and minerals, which are essential. Think of it, even if you're not in construction, most of us can relate to construction, to the building of a house. Building of a house is going to have certain essential elements for that house. You're going to need a foundation, right? That foundation has got to be there. You have to have framing, right? Maybe it's 2x4s or 2x6 or 2x12s or a combination of that. You're going to need that framing. You're going to need beams, over doorways and big open areas. This is equivalent to vitamins and minerals. You cannot build a house without a foundation, without framing, without those essential elements to the construction. And that's like vitamin and minerals. When you're talking about vitamin C, when you're talking about magnesium, when you're talking about zinc, these are like the foundation and the walls and the beams and the framing of that house. But then let's think about the paint. Let's think about insulation on that same house. Can you have a house and have a quote unquote functional house without any insulation in the walls? In theory, you can, just like you can have vitamins and minerals and be covering some bases, but it's not an optimal environment. It's not an optimal outcome. But you put some insulation in the walls, especially for those of us up here in Michigan, even in the warm weather that we're having this winter, and that's more optimized. What about the paint, particularly the exterior paint? That's like a phytonutrient in this house metaphor. Is exterior paint essential for that house? No. But if you don't have that exterior paint or some sort of protective exterior, you're not going to have an optimal house. You're going to have a house that's not going to perform as well as it could. It's not going to last as long as it could. When we talk about antioxidant properties and anti-inflammatory things, is your body optimized without it? No, it's not. And just like the paint on the exterior of a house, that would be like the phytonutrients. So again, that's kind of a metaphor that you can kind of construct in your head as you just think, okay, we've got a house, we've got the foundation, we've got the framing, we've got the roof on there. Those are like the essential elements of that construction of that house. That's the vitamins and minerals. It's essential. But now we've got very, very important synergistic elements. These are the phytonutrients. This is the insulation in the walls. This is the exterior paint, etc. The fine-tuned electrical and plumbing and so forth. Those are the phytonutrients. And so just to kind of get that clear in your head, and then as you're building this habit of supplementation, to realize that all supplements are not the same. I tell people, this is not theory. This is not my opinion when I say we've got the best of the best. We are the largest selling vitamin and supplement brand in the world. Okay. That's not opinion. It is. Okay. Neutralite brand started in 1934. This is not something that started last week. This has been going on. Who else has over 6,000 acres of certified? So we go through all of that, but then, they almost understate, in my opinion, the incredible value of this element of phytonutrients. Some of us were just recently on the tour, and in there, how many times did I see phytonutrients, or did I hear it? Lots of times, but I didn't really understand it. I didn't really appreciate it. So, whether you want to go down the rabbit hole and learn about, flavonoids and carotenoids, let me just kind of illustrate that, and I'll wrap with this. Flavonoids, what are those? Carotenoids, what are those? Glucosinolates. Think of the colors in a fruit or a vegetable. Say berries, blues and reds and so forth. That's that flavonoid character. Okay. Carotenoids are what give like a brightness. And again, the plant, the fruits and vegetables have developed this. They've evolved with these for defense mechanisms. But think about like a red pepper, that vibrant color that it would have, and other fruits and vegetables. And that's an example of that carotenoid category. And then the glucosinolates, that is the sulfur odor type, particularly vegetables. Think about like broccoli. Okay, when you chop it, when you chew it, it has almost like a sulfur odor. certainly like cauliflower, that would be like another one. That's that third category of phytonutrients. So that's what those are. So, you don't have to go down the rabbit hole of learning all that, but just think about it in terms of that vitamins and minerals being essential, and the phytonutrients being super important, and additive, cumulative, synergistic effect. And just know that we've got that's what the Neutralite brand is all about, is getting not only the vitamins and minerals, which are essential, but getting those all important phytonutrients. So that's my segment on there. Who else would like to tee up next? Anybody in particular want to unmute and speak?
Hello, Eric.
Hey, Hank, good morning. How are you?
Great.
Perfect.
How are you guys? You sound great. You're right on with the phytonutrients, because that is they're micronutrients that we need to have in our bodies. Vitamins are macronutrients, right? And then you got the micronutrients that come in that can only come from plants. They cannot be manufactured in a lab. Okay. And that's you're right on. That was exciting information to share. One other thing I'm excited about is the timing of the new eSpring. And you talked about PFOS, PFAS last week, and Mark Zielinski did. But I'll tell you the other thing, and it's bad in many states, but here in Florida, big concern is about the water, because we are sea level basically, and stuff comes in and so on. But here's the other thing. I just came across this just yesterday about sewage spilling in rivers and everything. There's so much construction going on here in Florida because people moving here. And I'm just going to read you just quickly here. In just the last 2 weeks, for example, close to our home, we have some construction going on called Be Rich Lorraine Road Construction, and the county released it broke out 4,200 gallons of raw sewage spilled into the pipelines. Another one is Bradenton, which is not far from us. They actually released this 1.2 million gallons of sewage spills into the Manatee River. And they had promised they're going to stop doing this, but it happened again. I mean, this is raw sewage.
Whoa.
And goodness gracious, and it's going to end up in people's drinking waters, along with all the pharmaceuticals they're finding and everything else today. So our new eSpring, which is really a water purification system, I call it, it's ideal timing. Everybody needs to have one of these babies, because our drinking water is getting worse and worse as we go along. And this was in the news. This is not something I'm making up. I'm reading it right now off a news release. So scary stuff, guys. And that stuff gets in your body, it's going to do some horrible stuff to your system. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you all. Look at that eSpring. If you really are concerned about your health, and we know how vital water is, we cannot live without water for more than 3 days, basically, for the average person. And we need to be drinking good, clean water. So I'm going to close with that, but great job, guys, as always.
That's fantastic, Hank. Yeah, any extra notations on the importance of having good, clean, filtered water, it just can't be overstated. That is, if that was some isolated, never has happened before, that would be shocking enough to have, what did you say, 4,200 gallons of raw sewage in that one incident, and then 1.2 million gallons of raw sewage. Not only is that just like gross, the visual of that, and but then when you think about what is so prevalent in that sewage, as we know now, is pharmaceuticals because of, the, incredible spike of pharmaceuticals in the American population. And, when you take that pharmaceutical, where does it, some of it go to? Well, into the toilets, right? We know that. And so when you're talking 4,200 gallons of raw sewage and 1.2 million gallons of raw sewage, we're talking some pretty gross stuff and some real micro level particles in there. And the eSpring system is certified. In my last week, I've reached out to a lot of people about water filters, and a lot of people have them. And all I would say is, check it out. Is it one? I kid when I say, hey, it takes out cigarette butts, but there's some filters that's pretty much all they're good for. Is it? It's like supplementation. Somebody said, are you taking supplements just to pat yourself on the back and say, I'm taking supplements? Or are you taking supplements because you want the benefit, you want the outcome of that supplement? Because there's a big difference. There's a big delta between the two. And same thing with a filter. I'm not saying there's not other good filters out there. I'm just saying, check it out. Just what we know is ours is rated by the NSF, right?
That's
and
correct.
Also, and the other one is the WQA. Both of which there's a couple of like short 1 or 2 minute videos on this from principal people at those organizations, at those agencies that speak directly about the merits of the eSpring system and that certification to take out PFAS, PFAS, 19 pharmaceuticals, microplastics. And of course, it's taking out the cigarette butts as well, okay? But it's getting down to those levels. And, the cost of it, after the initial year, yeah, it's an investment for that first year, but still your cost per gallon is very low. And every year after that, it's as low as 19 cents a gallon. You can't buy bottled water, even if it was good, you can't buy bottled water for even close to that. So it's a really, really great value as well. So yeah, can't say enough about that. And of course, in HealthPointe, we are talking about, hydrating and taking in a lot of good, clean water. So I think it's a great segment to wrap on. Thank you so much, Carol. Thank you, everyone, as always, for everybody's contributions. We will get this uploaded onto our Voices of HealthPointe YouTube channel. I know I personally enjoy listening to it again and again. I will admit I often listen to it on 2x speed, so I know all of you that speak at chipmunk level sound. So, but we'll get that up onto YouTube so we can listen to it again and again, and then we'll plan on being here same time, same place. That is Zoom next Saturday at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope more can join us live. And until next time, we'll say bye-bye for now, guys. Have a good Saturday. Bye-bye.
Everybody.
Thanks a lot, Eric.
Happy Saturday. Have a great week.